Hello nail friends and welcome back to another Honey Doll Nails video. Today we're back with Spring Bling and today I'm going to be bringing you some blue and green gel nails with some bling placement. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and where you're at it, hit that notification bell so that you may be notified of all future videos. So hello nail friends, how are you today? Hello to those that are coming back again, and hello to all of our new subscribers. We had a burst of new subscribers in the last 2 months, and I really think that it's because of this series, Spring Bling. So hello, if you don't know who I am, my name is Chinetta, and I am a seasoned nail tech of over 30 years. So I've been doing nails a long time, and I love to teach the ones that don't know how or maybe need some brushing up on little simple things about nails. So right now we're into a series called Spring Bling. I pulled out my darkest blue all the way to my darkest green, and I'm going to be laying down some crystal placements, including one of my favorite ones, which is the wedding ring, because we know that in the spring and the summer, people do get engaged, they do get married, and they do, renew their vows. And a lot of times you might have a client that might want something specific, something special. So that's going to be in this video today. But right now, we're going to do some crazy embellishments and some simple embellishments. And like I said before, also a ring placement. So we're going to show you how to do a wedding ring or an engagement ring. Now, you see me struggling on the side. I just want to stop and say, do not buy this set. Because it did not come with the extra crystal stand. All crystal stands are not made equal, so they may mix and match. They may not. This one my client bought me. I did not look into it before she purchased it for me, and it doesn't match anything that I have, so I'm gonna have to buy all new stands in order to use this particular stand. So if this is what you like, I will leave a link in the description box below to the page on Amazon where you can see the difference in the two, and then you can make your own decision on which one you would like to have. So first thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to lay down a thin line. So for this crystal placement, I'm just going to be going straight down the middle. This is an old video. Now you can tell this is an old video by the nails I have on. It's an old video that I found that I was like, oh, I didn't share this with my nail friends. I have to share this with my nail friends. So I apologize for just bringing you this video. I would like to say, for informational purposes only, excuse me, that I had talked in a previous video about my cancer diagnosis. So I did receive a new cancer diagnosis. So this makes my third time having cancer. My first time having cancer was ovarian cancer. Second time was colon rectal. And now my cancer has spread to multiple parts of my body. Listen, don't be sad for me, because y'all know I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He will heal me just like he healed me before. But I was just bringing you this information because there will be times when you will not be seeing me. Or there will be times when I will just be putting out a video without me speaking. If you know anything about chemo, it is harsh on the body. And I am severely allergic to chemo, so every time I have to have my treatments, I have to go into the hospital. So right now I'm doing my treatments at Duke Medical Center, which is one of the top hospitals in the nation. And I'm just so glad that I can afford to go there, because there are so many people that cannot. But anyway, thank you so much for your prayers, and thank you for your concern. I'm going to be fine. The doctors didn't say I had a certain amount of time or anything like that. They just said they were hopeful that the treatment would work. So I just wanted to throw that out there just in case if you didn't hear my voice for a while. All right, I will do my best to still bring you quality videos as best as I can. But if you don't see me for a while, then you know that I'm in my treatments, and it takes a while for you to recover from things like that. All right, so let's get back to the video. So this is just a straight up and down. So you see that I'm placing my elongated crystals, and then, you know, you're going from big to small. You could also put a crystal in between the two triangles if you wanted to space them out. But this is just my way of doing it. And then another thing too, when you are dealing with gel that is watery, your crystals will move around. You know, I'm always telling you about this gel glue. I'm going to use it up, but I will not be buying it again. I think my cart has one I want to try. I want to see if it's a little bit thicker. But you know what? There are some nail techs that like watery gel glue. Me per se, I do not. I like it to be as stiff as possible. So I'm just going to take my time here and space these out. And when I'm satisfied with it, then I'm always going to give it a flash cure. When you're dealing with multiple stone placements, in order for everything to be lined up exactly the way that you want it to be, you need to be doing some flash curing. So you're going to see me doing flash curing in between the next steps. Just want to make sure everything is lined up and it's not moving around, and there are no stones that are off-centered. The neater that you are when you're doing this type of stone placement, the better the nail is going to look. So I think the next lamp that I will be getting will be a gooseneck. BT Art Box Nails has a brand new branding that they have done. I really like the way everything looks, and I will be trying out their gooseneck flash cure lamp. I'm going to try that out and see how it works. I don't mind holding this little flashlight because I just don't. I have so many lamps and so many shapes and sizes. It's really not a big deal for me. But for those of you that don't like doing that, then the gooseneck will probably be the one for you. Okay, so now I am going to work on the sides of the nails. So I'm just going to do with the thinnest line that I possibly can down each side. So I'm going to say this again, this is a runny gel glue. So if you try to, like, this is not one of those gel glues where you can just slather the whole nail and just sprinkle pixies on it, because before you could finish it, half of it's going to be sliding. I tried it. It will slide off. It just makes a mess. I don't particularly like that. So if you know of another company that has a thicker glue, please let me know. I'm up to trying most things, as long as I'm not wasting my money and wasting my time with it. Because when you're doing stone placements, especially something like this, it's your speed. It's your speed on how you lay down your stones. So you have to practice that. Practice your speed. Like, set a timer. How long does it take you to do one nail? Nobody wants to sit in a salon 3-4 hours to get, if they're only getting stone placements, it really shouldn't take you that long. But it also depends on the glue that you're using to hold on your stones. It would be a shame for you to put all of these stones up there and you hadn't flash cured anything, and then before you know it, all your stones are sliding off onto your surface. Now, I don't know about you, but when that happens to me, I won't pick those stones back up. I'll get new stones because they have too much glue on them. Hair gets on it. You know what I'm saying? Gel attracts hair. It attracts lint. I've proven that in videos in the past. So, you know, even though you can wipe this stuff off, it's still, for some reason or another, it's like a magnet. It attracts anything floating in the air. And we know that most of our clients have pets. You know, most of our clients have dogs and cats. I know I have lots of dogs. They're outside dogs, but I still have them. So it doesn't take much for a hair to get onto your nail, especially if you're doing your client and they have on these sweaters and coats and, you know, their pets are always on them, and then when they come to the salon they have dog hair, cat hair on them. Next thing you know, it ends up on the nail. That's not your fault, but that's why it's always good to have some type of lint roller around, you know. Let's take the lint roller after your client has washed their hands thoroughly before they even sit down at your table. Your table is sanitized, everything is clean, you know, hand them the lint roller. Tell them to, you know, especially in the wintertime, could you kind of like, you know, go over your jacket if you're going to keep your jacket on, roll your sleeves up. Little stuff like that can ruin your design. That's just something to think about, you know. So you see, everything that I'm saying to you is the flash cure is very important. Now, of course, it's not completely set, but when I finish all of these nails in the end, I'm going to throw them all into a lamp and cure them all at the same time, and then we'll come back with the reveal. All right, so here is our next nail. I thought it would just be good to do blue, greens, aquas, you know, baby blues. This is where a nail stand would be very nice right now, a crystal stand. Unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen in this video. So maybe that's another reason why I just threw this video in the cut somewhere, because I was like, man, I didn't have my crystal stand. I like to hold the nails on the stand, not just hold it, you know, by the magnet. I don't like that. But right now I'm going to show you how to lay down the necklace. So this particular design is called the necklace. Now, one thing that I do like about the glue is its pinpointed precision. So I do like that part about it. But then you have to remember that if you're not working fast enough, it will run. It's not as watery as some that I have seen, but it's not thick enough to hold a whole entire placement before something starts slipping and sliding. So, you know, and then that kind of slows you down. All right, so what I normally do is I put the heaviest stone on first, and then, you know me, I work my way up from there. And then before I actually do anything, I blend it all together and make sure that it's pushed up properly. With the stone placement like this, you are working from the middle. You don't have to. This is just how I do it, so that I can make sure that I have an equal amount of stones on each side. So if you know anything about jewelry making, then you know that it has to have a certain symmetry to it. So if you don't know how to do it, you can also go onto Pinterest. You can go onto Pinterest. I'm going to find a picture and put it up here where you can go onto Pinterest and look up stone placement on necklaces and stone placements on brooches, stone placements on insects if you were doing actual jewelry for a person. Only thing you're doing different is you're just laying it on a flat surface. So you do the heaviest stones, and then as you're going up toward the neckline, you're going to change the size of the stone. Don't have to, but this is how we're doing it in this particular demonstration. And then when you finish it, you're going to push all the stones together. Make sure you don't have any gaps. Now, I don't use caviar beads, but if you wanted to make it even more intricate, you could put caviar beads in between each stone setting, which means you would have to have 4 caviar beads per stone. And that means that you're going to have to charge more too. So how much would I charge for this particular necklace nail? So a lot of times what I do is, if I've been knowing that client for a while, I just charge them a set price. Whatever the nails are plus the embellishment. But if a person is just getting one nail and they want, let's just say, Swartzy's crystals, which are the most expensive crystals that you can actually put on a person's nail, those crystals need to be secured to the maximum extent, because nobody's going to pay $60 just for a stone placement nail, and by the time they get home and put their hands in the water, the nails are coming off, the stones are coming off. So that's not going to work. That's why I said your glue is very important. So I'm just going to flash cure that for a moment. You know, these little stones that we purchased from Amazon and AliExpress are the cheapest stones that you could possibly buy. But if you know how to put them on, they can become the most beautiful setting that you've ever seen. So it's up to you how detailed you want it to be. So you start at $10 and you go up. Now that everything is so much more expensive now, you're gonna have to add tariffs even to your price as a nail tech. So if you were charging $125 for a set of nails, now you would charge $150. Now, I would not pass that on to my client if they were getting me other clients. I would only pass that on to a client that wasn't getting me any clients. So I have clients that I do their whole entire families. Like I do their husbands come and get manicures on a Friday, and then the wife comes and gets her nails done on a Saturday, and then the grandma comes and gets her nails done on a Saturday night with the granddaughter to be ready for church on Sunday morning. Now with a client like that, I don't add any extra to it. If anything, I give them more, because they're the ones that have been with me for over 25 years. Because really, we want clientele that lasts for years. We don't want clients that just run in and out the door. We want to be doing whole families of clients. You know, it's okay to have people coming off the street and then you never see them again, because you know, before you know it, school is going to be out, vacations and holidays, and people do come in for family reunions and weddings and baby showers and all this type of stuff. These are people that you will probably never see again. But then you want to get the clientele that no matter where you move to, they'll travel. They don't want to go to anybody else but you, because they've been, you know, they've been in your company for so long, they trust you. So this is the type of clientele that you want to get. You don't want to get the fly-by-night, you know, maybe I'll get a client today, maybe I want clientele. You don't want that. You want the clientele that sticks with you for years. So that's something to think about, which means that you're going to have to be willing to eat the cost of some of these things that are going around now. That's why I'm always trying to help you guys find things that you can give to your clients that don't cost you that much, but you can still make a lot of money from it. The press-on nail business boomed during the pandemic. And it will possibly continue to boom because a lot of people, what they did was they learned how to do their own nails while in the comfort of their own homes. And then when the pandemic was over, they just never came back to the salon. Now, I did nails all the way through the pandemic. I didn't lose any clients. As a matter of fact, I gained more clients. Even when I moved from Jersey to North Carolina here, I still had those clients, and those clients were still willing to travel to come to get their nails done by me. Personally, I didn't feel comfortable with that, so I found them replicable, nail techs in their area that they could probably get their nails done. And then if they were coming this way on vacation, I could see that. But I couldn't see anybody traveling 500 miles just to get their nails done. That was just ridiculous. The cost alone would just be astronomical. But some of them did. I still have some of those clients right now today. So if you give your client a service that they can't get anywhere else, they're always going to stick with you. Even if that, entails your massages. Like, how good are your massages? How good is the aromatherapy in your spot? Is the parking safe? Do you celebrate your clients' achievements and, birthdays and anniversaries with them? Or are you just steady digging in their pockets? Or are you willing to give them some type of discount every now and then, just so you can keep those clients? Right now is an excellent time to do some sales. Do some sales. Buy one, get one. Buy one set of press-on nails, get a set of press-on nails. Do mother-daughter sets. You know what I'm saying? You can even do husband and wife duo sets, because I do know some men that will get their pinky nails the same color as their wife's nails. They would just do a pinky. You could bling up the pinky and do it for free. These are things that we can do, like some type of customer appreciation to show your clients that, everything is going up in the world, but my prices are still the same. So here we have, with this set of placements, I'm doing an on and off. This is what I call it, on and off, which means one stone is bigger than the other and they're not lined up. They're not lined up at all. One is going one way, one is going the other way. And they're going to meet. Everything is going to meet in the middle. On the side of the nail is what we're dealing with here. I'm not doing anything on the other side. Just going to go as I feel it. I'm just throwing stones the way that I want to. So the last stone that we're doing is stone placement, is going to be the ring. So this is what I really wanted to get to. Please forgive me for jumping in the video. Obviously, I did not take the scatter box, which is the green one next to the one that I'm holding right now. And that's just a brick laying stone placement where you put two stones and then one stone, two stones and then one stone, and then you spread them out. It's very easy to do. So with this ring placement, as you can see, I am using the big stone first, and then I am lining it up with two smaller stones, one bigger than the other. And you can do this any way that you want to. Like I said, I'm gonna throw up a picture so that you can see what you can do if you go onto Pinterest. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link to this exact picture so you can see when it goes, if you don't know what to put into the search engine to find it. So you can just remember that the heavier the stones are, the more they're going to move around. Now the reason why I didn't use non-sticky, like that non-tacky gel to put these stones in is because when you get ready to dry it, it leaves like, I just didn't want that big hump of gel up there like that. I wanted it to look like it was just laying up there. I wanted it to look like you really hadn't put any glue up there at all. Now some nail techs will cover the whole nail with gel. Once you finish it, they set it that way. I don't like to do it that way because when it comes down to AB crystals, it'll take away from the shine. It'll take away from the etching in the stone. So we are just going to move on to the next section of this nail. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build it up. I'm going to keep building it up to my heart's desire. Now, if you wanted to make this nail even more luxurious, like I said before, use your caviar beads in between each stone. So if you were doing a gold, then you would use your gold caviar beads. They have metal gun colored, they have silver. You can even use pearls in between. But just remember that the more stuff that you use for an embellishment, the longer it's going to take you to do the nail. It's going to become more intricate. You're going to have to charge more money. So if you were going to do a regular nail like this, you might charge somebody $30 just for that nail. If you were going to put the caviar beads in it, you would have to charge them $60 for that nail. So that's what I'm saying. You can charge them anything that you want to. I'm just giving you like just a set figure of what I charge. Now, if my client gives because most of the time too, what you need to remember is how much does your client tip you? So if your client always tips you $20, why would you charge them $60 for that nail? Unless you're just doing nails for the money, because there are a whole lot of nail techs out there that are just running people's pockets just for the money. I'm not one of those. My client has bought me 7, 8 clients. She tips me $30. Why would I would give her that nail. I would put that on her hand because that's free advertisement. That's free advertisement. You think about it. Half of them stones is going in the garbage anyway when you knock them off on the table. If I knock over a thing of stones on the table, that whole thing goes in the garbage because it's contaminated in my mind. Because them stones didn't cost that much. You get like 1,400 stones for like $6. So just keep building it. Now you see how I'm building it up and it's starting to look like a ring now. So you can actually, this is what you could do for your client if you wanted to. You could actually look at their hand, like their ring, and you could duplicate that on their nail. So they just got engaged, right? So, you know, they're getting married. Say they're getting married next week, you know. You could just draw that out, make some circles and squares on a piece of paper and some X's and whatever, and then you come up with a design and, yeah. Make them feel extremely special. But there's nothing wrong with that. Just take your time and, you know, come up with something that is extremely beautiful just for your client. And then, like I said, don't forget in the end, to push all the stones together so that you have no spaces, especially if you want to do it this way. So let me know down in the description box which nail you like the best. In a minute, I'm going to be showing you the reveal of all of these beautiful nails that we created today. Between this one and the necklace, my favorite. You could also do a mother's nail, like a mother's ring nail, depending on the birthstones from your childhood, you know. Anybody still buying their mother's rings? That would have been something great to do during Mother's Day. Look at this ring. I just love that. That is just so beautiful to me. Just think if you did that on a white nail, gold nail, black nail, red nail, it just a basic color. Just flash cure that. It's just so beautiful. We are coming down to the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'm just going to put all of them on a flash cure. This is the lamp that I'm using. The Sun X5 Max, the Super Sun UV LED nail lamp. Good lamp. I have so many lamps. I try to mix and match them and move them around. And then of course I'm using the basic flashlight, the UV flashlight. We're just going to cure all those nails for a full cure, excuse me, and then it'll be time for the reveal. So please let me know down in the description box below which nail you like the best. Again, thank you so much to all the new subscribers, and I hope that you will come back again. Please share this video with a friend. Alright, so here comes the reveal. I really enjoy doing them all. So I did all this whole set. It took me about 45 minutes because I realized that I did not tape the green one, the one next to the dark green one. I didn't tape that one, but that's like a bricklay effect. But in all, it took me like 45 minutes to do the set. So if you had to do like a whole set of nails for someone, it would probably take about an hour and 30 minutes. So these are the nails at the end. So thank you again for tuning into this video. God bless you all, and until I speak to you again, have a wonderful, wonderful day.